Sorry, your voice is you're not audible. Hello.
Yes, sir. Now it's audible.
Yeah, just speak a little louder.
Okay, sir. So last class video is not uploaded in the my channel.
Hmm. Okay, I'll just confirm with Sandeep because I just asked him to upload, but okay, I'll just confirm. Okay. Okay, so let's start. So today we are going to learn about BIM 360. So sorry, not 360, scan to BIM. So does anyone have any idea about what is scan to BIM and why we are using?
To get a accurate 3D model and to
Mm-hmm.
work more efficiently and to have a better view of a model. That's the purpose.
Okay, so it is used in which stage?
It's used in initial stage when you scan the image of a building through a laser scanner, and then you get a file in the form of a point cloud, and then you convert it into a 3D model.
Yes. So I'll just give you a small introduction about how it is using. Okay. So let's start. So this is the equipment that which is used to scan the building. Okay. So it just sends some lasers. So and with the help of those lasers, we'll be capturing the real world environment. So this is how it looks like. So this equipment is from the manufacturer called Ferro. So there are lots of manufacturers available. This is just one of those, just to show you an idea. Okay. And here you can see these lasers, like you can see this dotted red line, right? So these are lasers coming out of these machines. So how it is working is that these lasers go and touch an object and it comes back. So from that data, it is stored. Okay. So scanning of outdoor environment, scanning of indoor environment, and it is mostly used in the as-built cases. Okay. So because like once if you're going for LOD 500 means what you will do, like probably in the we'll be going to the site and we'll be measuring everything with the help of tape, right? So there's a huge chance of human error. There's a chance the what we are measuring can be gone wrong. Okay. So but with the help of laser scanning, we can do it without any error and it will take very less time, and we just want to go to site only once to take all these data. Okay, so we don't need to manually measure it everything with the tape. Okay, and this mission consists of two cameras. Okay, so you can see vertical angle and horizontal angle. So in horizontal angle it covers 360-degree, but in vertical angle it will cover only 300-degree. It will not cover the 360-degree because the 60-degree below the equipment, what you're seeing here, the tripod area will not be covered. Okay, so in horizontal 360-degree will be covered, but vertically the 60-degree will not be covered. The tripod area will not be covered. So this is how the scanning is going to happen. And so it is used to bring the historical sites back to life. So recently Taj Mahal has converted to scan to BIM, and the applications are reconstruction, restoration, conservation, and the benefits is, as I said, it is simple, fast, and complete recording of the current condition of heritage sites or archaeological objects, and etc. etc. And as I said, it is easier for us to documentation and the planning of structural alterations, replanning of technical modification, everything. Like it is it saves our time actually. Yeah, so that's it. I'll just share this PDF with you. You can just go through it. You can also get this PDF from the Google. You can just go and search for like the name just ferro laser scanning, and you'll get this PDF. There are also lots of videos available that we can go and search for it. Okay, so what you're seeing here is that these are our targets. So in order to get all these targets, you want to place this mission in this particular place. Okay, you can see that this is the overlapping area. So this are placed with some help of some coordinates. Okay, so with the help of coordinates, these control points will be placed in these locations. Then later, in the help of some softwares, we'll be comparing all these scan data with the coordinates. Okay, so this has some coordinates, this has some coordinates like x, y, z, not the z value, x and y. Okay, so with the coordinates, we'll be comparing all these scan data so that we'll get all this in like the area that needs to be scanned. So not only for scan to BIM, like as you can see, just an image showing you. This is also used in 3D printing as well, like for if you want to just manufacture anything, means you can just scan this 3D object, you can just do 3D printing, etc, etc. So that's all about. You can see here, in order to scan this entire car, the emissions has to be kept in these places. Only then you can able to cover the entire car. Okay, so I'm just giving you an idea how this is happening, but we don't need to worry about this. This is not our responsibility. So the site engineers, they will be doing all these things. They're having a separate team for this. Okay. And today I'm going to show you about a new software that is called Autodesk VCAP. So have anyone heard of it? Anyone?
Sir, is it used for converting point cloud data to 3D model?
No, no, no. Like that, we are doing with the help of Revit. Okay. So I'll just tell you. So in this Autodesk VCAP, you can able to view your cloud model, okay, your point cloud data, and you can also even combine all your point cloud data in this software. Okay, so here we have the sample project. You can click this. Okay, so this is a sample project, and if I zoom out, you can see this is how it looks like, the scan data. You can see some small grains, like when I zoom in, like a cloud made up of small dots, points. So these are point clouds. And here you can see there are two bubbles in this room. Okay, so these are showing the places where the scanned equipment is placed. So as I said, you can see the 60-degree below is not scanned here, right? As I said, in horizontal 300-degree and vertical only, sorry, in horizontal 360-degree and in vertical only 300-degree. The tripod area will not be covered. Same in there also. So to scan this room, we have placed two equipments, and this is how it looks like. So when you click one of these bubbles, you can able to see exactly how it looks like. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the point cloud data, and from this particular control point, you can able to see with accurate. It exactly looks like an image, right? That happens only when you are looking from this control point. And the top, you can see just showing the map. You can zoom out, you can see the total building, and there are two equipments, right? So from here we can just do, like if you want to measure anything, you can click this distance option here. So click from, I'm just measuring from here to here. You can see 3.16 meter. So like this, you can able to measure from anywhere, and it automatically creates XYZ with an angle. You can able to see not only in XYZ, you can just measure from any points, and it automatically creates a XYZ with an angle. You can able to see like here. I'm just moving simply, and you can see it just creates X, Y, Z value from both these points. It even shows the angle, right? So we don't need to go to site many times. We have to go only one time to the sites, and we can just scan all these area, and there will not be any human error, right? Okay, so if you want to go to the other equipment, you can just click this, and you'll be moving. So now we are viewing from this second equipment. As you can see here, you can zoom in, and here we have this 3D view. So when you click this, you'll just come out of the equipment, and if you come out of that equipment, the image will not be that much clear. As you can see, it will be something like the grains. Okay, these point cloud only you can be seen. You can also take sections here if you want. You can go to this limit and box limit. You can just click this and take a section like this, and you can view. Actually, the sectioning here will not be similar to what you're doing in Revit or Navisworks. It will be like this. You have to first select this face, and then you have to move it like this. But you need to get practiced. Now you can see the sections. And there's some couple of options, like you can just change the colors. Lighting inside. So, but this will not be that much useful for us as a BIM professional, because the site engineers, the scanning team, they'll be responsible for this, like doing all these things. But I'm just giving you a quick idea about what this software and how it is used. Okay. And here I have this cube. We can also view this, use this. We can save this file, and you can just reuse in Revit for your example. Okay, and you can see there's some couple of videos, so I would suggest you to watch these so that we'll get some idea.
Sir, please excuse me.
Yeah, hello.
So what is the accuracy of this model, point cloud model? So
The
is it
accuracy is, yeah, it's perfect as per the site. There will not be any changes in the dimensions, so don't need to worry about it.
okay? Sir.
So that's what I say. It's just saving your time. And there will be no errors while measuring from this. Okay. So I'll just show you some couple of image how it looks like from the scanned model versus the converted model. So here you can see this is the scanned model, and this is the BIM model of the scanned thing. And here you can see this mechanical plant too. So this is the scanned image, and this is the BIM model. So now I'll just show you how to do this in Revit.
Excuse me, sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, if I want to scan a building, so do I have to use multiple instruments at the same time and scan the whole structures, or I can use the same instrument and place it at different positions at different time? I mean,
Yeah, your question is like, do you want to use lots of machine or just a single machine to scan everything, right? Is that your question?
yes, single machine to scan everything. Yeah.
Yes, that can be
At,
done, but that will take a lot of time. You can just place first. You have to set the range of the equipment. So first what you have to do is first you have to just a minute. Okay. So first what you have to do is you have to set the control points. The control points is the markup that in which area that you have to place all the equipment so that you can scan the entire building. Okay. Then you can use, if you have lots of machine, you can use lots whatever the machines available, or else you can use a single machine. First place it at one place, scan it, then move it to the other control point area, scan it. That's not a problem. Later you can use the coordinates to save all these and combine it to a single file. So you can do both. That's upon you. Okay.
okay, sir.
Okay, so first go to insert, and here I have this option called point cloud. So links a point cloud file and RCP and RCS. So RCP means recap project file and RCS means recap. Uh, I just forgot the name of RCS. Yeah, RCS is a scanned file. Okay, so RCS is a scanned file and RCP is a project file. Okay, so I just have some example of RC scanned file, and you can see. So this is a project land. You have level 1 to level 7 and you have the basement. So these scan data are really large. You can see the size. So this is nearly 5 GB and this is 4 GB. This is 4 GB. This is 3 GB. The basement is 5 GB. Okay, so it's really a heavy file. So first I'm loading this. So RCS is a scanned file and RCP is combining of all these files. Okay. Okay, so now we have loaded our point cloud file, and you can see here it's just loading. Take some time. But you cannot select here anything. Okay, so first, once you loaded your point cloud data, you have to set the levels because you're going to convert this into a BIM model, right? So first you have to set some levels. So for that, take a section. And from the section, you can see there are some default levels available here. If you want, you can use it, or else I'm just showing you an example. Okay, so this is the scanned, just a minute, guys. Okay, so what was he saying? Yeah, first you have to set the levels. So here we have this default level. So I'm just using this. Just move it down here because this is going to be our level 1, right? So okay, and this is going to be a level 2. Even move a little bit down. Okay, so now we have set the levels, right? Next we have to start modeling. So go to the plan, and this is how it looks like. If you want, you can set the view range so that you can able to see the inside. Next, so we know that these are walls, right? So go to wall. You also can see the walls here. You have to just start modeling. But you don't know the size of the wall, right? So first model the wall and check whether the wall matches with the width of the scan. You can see there's some difference, right? So we can just change the thickness or and that's it. You have to take this as a reference and you have to model it. So actually this is hectic work because you don't have any information, so you have to just follow the scanned data as it is. Actually we haven't set the levels. Level 2, and now we can see and then these curtain walls, these uh, studs, everything you have to model, these joists. So you have to take sections each and everywhere that you needs attention. Okay, so as I said, it's not an easy task. So now you got this reference of these frames, so you can just model, and you can see there are some columns here. And this circle, what you're seeing here, is the place where the equipment is kept. Okay, so these are called noises. As you can see in this image, we have lots of noises in this image. I'll just show in 3D view. So noises means unwanted things. As you can see here, you can able to see the workers working here, these materials, etc., etc. As you can see this, right? So these are called noises. We don't need all these noises, right? So in the recap, we can just remove all these noises. We can, there is option called deleted that we can also use to remove all these noises, unwanted things, so that while modeling, it will be easier for us. And you can see the pipes here. We don't have the size of the pipes, right? So what you have to do, you have to take section and we have to model the pipe, and you just match it with the point cloud data. You can see the sprinkler pipes, right? So just type pipe and okay, the pipe size is large, so reduce and match it. Okay, so this must be a 40 dia pipe. Yeah, now it's matching. So it's a 40 dia pipe. And you want to know about this pipe, the sprinkler pipe. So again, click pipe, and it must be 15 in normal cases, 15 mm. If it's not matching, change to the next size. Now it is somewhat matching. So this is a 20 dia pipe. So this is how you have to model. Is this clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
And you can also just download this Autodesk VCAP. You'll get a trial version. You'll not get the pro version because that is licensed, and yeah, you can get this trial version. And there's also another thing that is called VCAP Photo. So photo in the sense, like, you can just merge some of the photos, and you can just create a 3D model with the help of photos. I'll just show you a video so that you can better understand that. So scan to BIM. Just go to the Autodesk website and so this is how it looks like, but you need some like sample files. It doesn't have any sample files. Okay, so there are two options. One is the normal photo, and another one is the aerial project. So which this is called drone scanning. Okay, so I'll just show you a video so that you can better understand that. You can just view this video, which will be helpful for you. Just go to this Autodesk website, okay, and okay, so this is what drone scanning looks like. I'll just play this video, just watch it.
Video is lagging.
Yes, I think some internet issue. Just a minute. Okay, I'll just share this link. Better you can watch it. So we have some couple of videos and how to convert this VCAP Pro plus Web8 and etc etc. Just this is the thing, like we have to just link this point cloud data, take it as a reference and start modeling. That's it. But as I said, it is not an easy task. You have to just go through each and every detail and make sure uh, the converted BIM model is matching the real-time environment. Okay, so I'll just share this link. So just go through it. And you can also download this. You can see free trial. And if you face any problem, you can just contact me or you can contact the IT guy. So he'll be helping you to download this Autodesk Wiki. You'll get a 30 days free trial. But this software will not be useful for the BIM professionals because we are not going to the site and scan the environment, right? So, but it's a good thing to have an additional knowledge of an additional software. Okay, so you can just do it.
Excuse me, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, this is done during BIM execution plan, no?
Sorry.
The scanning part
Mm-hmm.
before the execution before the process start, it is done, no?
Sorry, can you come again?
The scanning part,
Yes.
it is done before the process started, no?
Which process are you saying?
BIM process during the execution plan.
Yeah, in the BIM execution plan, if we are including LOD 500 means like we have to this if you are planning for the LOD 500, this will be included because nowadays there's very less people are manually measuring all these things. Okay, so that this will be it's a LOD 500 project. This will be included. So in the old days, what we do is you'll get a red line markup from the site. Okay, and the 500 model, there will be lots of difference because the site engineers, they will not execute exactly as per LOD 400 model. So they will do some changes in the site, and we in our LOD 500 model, right? So they'll be sending the scan team to scan all these data, and they'll send this data to us. We'll be converting to the 500. That's a finite model, and that can be used for facility management, asset management, etc., etc. And that will be included in the BIM execution plan. Is that clear? Is that clear? Someone is asking. Hello guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so is there any questions, anyone? No questions? Okay, so just download this recap. Just go look around of the software, just try to use all the tools. Okay, and you have the sample project. You can just save that sample project to a folder, and you can just use the sample project to link. And this scan data can also be included in the Navisworks. Like in some projects, we will be getting the architecture. If we are working in an MEP project, means like let's take for an example, you can take some old building, okay, that doesn't have any MEP services, and if you want to, if the client wants to add the MEP services to an already existing building, but the building doesn't have any drawings or any BIM model, but you have to model the MEP for that building. So in that cases, we'll be scanning that building, and the point cloud data will be running the clash between the our MEP model and the point cloud data. So for that, you can append the RCS and the RCP file to the Navisworks. Later, you can append your NWC file, and you can just find the clashes between all these elements. So for an example, I'm just loading all these files. So in this project, we have 7 folders plus basement, so totally 8. 8 levels are here. But the problem here is that you cannot run the clash detection. like as you do in between the NWC and D files, you cannot run a clash detective with this file because you cannot select any elements here. If you open this, you can see all you see is this small dot called voxel. See, there's nothing here except this. And when you try to select something, you can only select some dots. So basically you cannot run any clash detection between all these services. But you have to run the clash detection. So how you will do? You have to just go through this pipes and ducts where they are going, and you have to check whether it is clashing or not. And this is a very, very hectic work, as I said. It will take a lot of time. So for next, I'm just hiding all these things because it will take a lot of time. So here you can see this is the level 1. You have to wait for some seconds so that only can able to view it properly. You can see it will take some time. Okay, so now we get some clear image. So now we can see this fire pipe is going here. We can measure the distance of this fire pipe, and we can imagine, okay, so we can plan that duct should be going above it or below it, but it should not be clashing here. Even if the duct is clashing here, we can just check like this. We can move a little bit and we can check whether our duct is clashing with this fire pipe like this. You have to go along with your pipes and you have to check whether it is clashing or not. That's the only way. You cannot run any clash detection. You have to walk through all these pipes like this, and you have to check whether it's clashing or not, it's clashing or not. That will take a lot of time to do that. So this is how we'll be running clash detection between the point cloud file and the Revit or whatever the format it is. This is only level 1. This is basement. These are the other levels. Okay, so I hope now you guys get a clear idea about what is Scan2BIM and the way it is used, how it is used, etc., etc., right? So if you have any questions, you can ask me now, or else we can end the session today.
Sir, how often is Scan2BIM used in BIM industry?
Nowadays, many companies are adapting to Scan2BIM because, as I said, it's saving your time. It really helps us. But some companies are they still doing the traditional way, like measuring everything with the tape. But they are adapting. That depends from companies to companies. But most companies will prefer Scan2BIM only.
Sir, are there any different professionals hired for this job?
Yes, like the site teams, they'll be handling all this because we don't know how to use the equipment. We don't know how to merge all these RCS file with the help of the coordinates, etc., etc. We don't know where to place this, how to set the range. So they're having a separate team. Okay, so they'll be doing it. As a BIM professional, we don't need to worry about it. We just want to know how this is happening and how to convert this data into a BIM model.
Okay, sir.
Sir, as a BIM professional,
Mm-hmm.
what domain should be focused? For me, I'm focused on designing purpose.
Okay.
So what I should be focused on?
Like okay, you're focusing on design, right? So you're asking me in BIM what you want to focus on BIM.
Yeah, in BIM point of view, what should I focus on?
See, if you are design is the first thing before the BIM, right? So first we have to design. So actually in companies you'll be having different teams for the design and for the BIM, because the design engineers, they don't will not worry about the BIM, and the BIM engineers sometimes they don't have the knowledge of the design. But if you have the both the design and the BIM, that will be helpful for you. And if you're looking for long-term career in BIM, just developed some this future BIM softwares like Pixel Manager or Synchro 4D. So these are some of the management softwares. So try to learn all these and how to do the 4D simulation, and that too in detail about planned versus the actual 4D. Okay, and about cost estimation, facility management, Internet of Things, IoT, which is called. Okay, so Internet of Things is used in facility management most cases. In Gulf countries, they have implemented IoT, and it really helps them a lot. And etc. etc. If, as I said, if you're looking for long term, just you have to keep studying. That's it. Okay, and develop some managerial skills as well if you're looking for to become a manager or a BIM lead in your future. See, BIM is still evolving. There are a lot of things to learn in BIM. BIM is not only limited to just Revit or Navisworks. Okay, so there are lots and lots of things in BIM. Basically, this level 3 BIM, which is called integrated BIM. I hope everyone knows the levels of BIM, right? BIM level 0, 1, 2, 3. So BIM level 3, most of the companies are not adopting, but in future they'll be doing. So only some like very big companies are doing BIM level 3, which includes IoT, everything. Okay, so what I'm saying is just keep learning, and we are even using visual programming. Start learning from tomorrow, so you can also focus on visual programming as well. Basically, what I'm saying is just keep learning. That's it.
So one more question. So
Yes.
do we need to create a portfolio before applying for a company?
Yeah, you have to. If you have worked on some projects, you can create a portfolio that will really help you. Even if you don't have experience, you can just add your the works that you have practiced and all these things that will be helping you. It's really a good to creating a portfolio, but
Okay,
that's not
sir.
mandatory. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any other questions, anyone? Dano, Ankita. Okay, I guess no. So that's all, guys, for today's class. So just practice it. And so this is Pragdish signing off until we meet again next time. Thank you.